Good. So let me, just before we open it up, and we're right on schedule, little non-traditional, but it could be interesting. Question for Lenny, any question for anyone from either Carlos as a potential investor, Craig with some technology, David with rapid growth? Fire away.
Yeah, I actually have a question for Craig. I'm curious in a very early stage environment, before you have a product, I'm wondering about different milestones that you have. Obviously, you have a limited amount of money as opposed to an unlimited amount of money. So, do you set milestones saying, we got to have a product in 6 months? At what point do you say, I want to go out and raise more money? Is it something that you're always thinking about, constantly trying to raise more money? Do you have an end point where you say, look, if this product is not viable, if it's not successful, this is where we quit? So how do you think about these things?
That's a good question. So I think especially for an early stage company, thinking about milestones more than a couple of steps out doesn't really make a lot of sense. So we kind of think about the next couple milestones are, we're going to partner with company X, with a company in sector XYZ. We're going to raise this much money. We're going to get the product done. And of course, none of that happens along the timeline that you expect. None of those milestones are met when you expect they will be or how you expect they will be. And so you constantly have to be dynamically revising them. This is the whole thing about the business plans, right? This is why I feel like it's a useful thing to have to gauge yourself against, but it's not useful at all to follow because you can't. Reality doesn't follow the business plan. So for things like raising money, we were expecting we'd raise all this money, then we'd go build a product. And, then it was like, yeah, that's actually taking much longer than just building the product. So we're going to completely change everything around and build the product. And like, when do we fail? When do we, what's the fast failure point? Truth is, I don't know. For me personally, I would say once we have the product out there, I would not want to fail without the product out there. If we put it out there and it doesn't work, that's one thing, but it would seem like a real tragic thing to fail without even getting your product out, from my perspective.
Good. And Craig, if you had a question for one of the panelists.
Yeah. So actually, David, I was wondering, your rate of growth was really incredible. How on earth did you spread the word fast enough? How did you get so many people to see what you were doing that quickly? What was your marketing secret, or what was your insight?
So the biggest thing for us was social media, obviously. With social media nowadays, you can get a lot of things out there a lot quicker. Whereas back then, when you started a business, you needed a marketing budget, you needed to spend a lot of money on PR and get the word out. I mean, with us, the product really sold itself and the content really sold itself. And you can say those two things kind of came together. And I mean, when somebody shares something on their Facebook feed, 65 to 60% of our traffic comes from Facebook. So that's really our real estate. That's where we are, and that's where the people see our articles, and that's where they come in and read the site from. So really, social media has enabled us to spread the word as fast as we did, and social media will constantly allow more and more people to spread the word about their businesses or industries, wherever it may be. Just because when the product sells itself, it's all left to the social world to do its job at that point. So you could just say right time, right place, right content, right demographic, and just kind of right science behind what we're doing.
And don't just count luck as well. I mean, you've got to be. Everyone, even the founders of Google, they said, if we started a couple years early, we wouldn't have been able to do what we did because the price of storage was so much higher. The price of bandwidth, transfer was exponentially higher. Someone just told me something with Facebook. They slightly tweaked the algorithm for what shows up in people's feed, and upworthy, suddenly went downworthy, pretty quickly. So there's all kinds of things. I mean. But with luck, the harder I work, the luckier I get. It doesn't mean you just sit back and wait for luck, but you've got to work hard, and this, sometimes it's.
I have a theory on luck. A simple equation of luck is hard work plus opportunity equals luck. That's really as simple as it gets.
No, there's the guy who wrote the last lecture. He's a professor at Carnegie Mellon, Randy Pausch. He said that luck is the intersection of opportunity and preparation. Yeah.
And the other thing is right place, right time. I mean, I remember my first PACE professor in my first class told us a story about right place, right time. So it really does come down to all those different factors coming together.
How about a question?
A question. I actually have a question for Lenny. How, with the furniture business, obviously it's large products, and it's if somebody's buying a piece of furniture, they're committing to it. Any struggles with selling furniture online? Because you can't test it out, you can't really sit on it or feel it. Is that one of the things that's getting easier over time, or?
So for sure it's a challenge because people can't see the furniture, but in general people are getting more and more comfortable with e-commerce and more comfortable just buying things online. And 10 years ago it was lots of small items. Now it's very common to buy large items like jewelry or furniture. So people are very much used to it. A big challenge for us is the logistics of shipping around big bulky things. So think about if someone lives in North Dakota and they buy a dresser, you can't just give it to the UPS guy. You have to figure out how it's going to get there. And if you could imagine, it's very fragile, like, things that have glass and mirror. So you can't just let someone take it and throw it around in the back of the truck. We actually, our supply chain, we consider it a competitive advantage. It's very complicated, very, very tough part of doing business.
Got it. And in regards to price point, what's the average price point of a piece of?
So our average order value is $2,300. We concentrate on higher end furniture simply because of how expensive it is to provide the delivery part of it.
Yeah. Nice.
Carlos, a question?
I have a question for all of them, I guess. Where do you see your company in 5 years?
It's kind of crazy to think about, what's going to happen in 5 years. We think in much shorter time frames. But what we do, our company started in a traditional company sense with physical stores and physical locations and lots of inventory. And now 80 or 90% of our business is online through our e-commerce platform, and it's powered by technology. We spend more money in technology than we probably do on anything else. And where we see ourselves in the future is becoming much more of a technology company and selling our software as opposed to selling furniture as a product.
So anyone at my stage who has strong thoughts about where their company is going to be 5 years from now is probably a little bit delusional. But that said, I think it's important to have a vision of where the company potentially could be. And for us, that's that we're going to be a broad platform, that we're going to move well beyond individual products, individual services, and provide a broad, coherent platform that really owns a significant sector of professional and academic knowledge work.
So this is a very investor question to ask. With us, it's. I think the correct question is where do we want it to be, not where we see it, because anybody can say they see it going anywhere, and that's as big as it gets. With us, we see things day by day, and we take things day by day because that's what you have to be able to do. You got to be able to handle every day's problem, every day's solution, every day's win, every day's loss. You have to understand all that on a daily basis. In regards to where we want to be, we're swinging for the fences. As an entrepreneur, you want to swing for the fences. So we want ourselves to be a big digital media company, created by Generation Y, online, and really turn into a big media company. So that's our want.
Good, thanks.